Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are doing well. Doing things a little bit differently today. We've got a handheld mic. I live in New York. It's quite loud, so let me know if the sound picks up okay for you. We have the hair up. It's the end of summer. It's quite hot outside, and we are showing off these earrings, which we will talk about later. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the Japan series. It's almost over, but we've got a couple really exciting videos, so stay tuned for that. Staying at the Hotel Miracosta, and then flying a airline I haven't featured before on this channel, a business class I haven't featured before, which is very exciting. So stay tuned for those videos. Also just came back from the UK and flew business class there and back. So stay tuned for those videos. I filmed some fun ones over there as well. Anyway, as I said, end of summer, it's quite hot. We are approaching the end of August, meaning that Bilt has released their rent day promos for September of 2024, and they're pretty exciting. Now, if you don't know what Bilt rent day is, I mentioned this in a previous video that I did on their July benefits, but Bilt, which is the famous credit card that you get points for paying your rent on, has at the end of each month or the first of every new month, the day you pay your rent, special promos that they do with airlines, hotels, fitness classes, things like that to give extra benefits to their members. And the one for September of 2024, I shouldn't say one, because we have transfer bonuses for two airlines, two different mileage programs, which I have featured before on this channel and which I really enjoy. And also having a lot of videos of traveling for some business class to Japan are really exciting ways to fly ANA first or business to Japan. So we'll mention that. I'm also planning on doing a deep dive of the Bilt credit card for this channel, so stay tuned for that video. Now, as I said, Bilt is offering not one, but two airline transfer bonuses this month. Now, the first one we'll cover is Avianca LifeMiles. And for September, Bilt is offering a 50% transfer bonus across the board. Whether you are a blue, a silver, a gold, or platinum member on Bilt, you are getting a 50% transfer bonus, which is amazing, right? Well, there are some caveats to this. Well, at the beginning of this month, Avianca issued what's called a devaluation overnight with no notice, and just in time for a transfer bonus, right? Now, Avianca hasn't posted an award chart in quite some time, but using an example of Avianca awards to Europe from the US. Economy flights used to cost about 30,000 miles. Now they cost about 35,000. Business class went from about 63,000 miles to about 70,000 miles. The real kicker is for first class awards from the United States to Europe. While they used to cost about 87,000 miles, now they will run you about 130,000. That is a 50% increase. So if you were hoping to book Lufthansa first class, your dreams kind of got shattered with that devaluation. Now, what's great about this transfer bonus is it brings you back down to the pre-devaluation levels. If you're getting a 50% transfer bonus anyway, you're kind of eating up that change. Now, as we're speaking about awards from the US to Europe, there is an unfortunate piece of news that I have to tell you. When I heard about the transfer bonus, I was so excited because if you'll remember my business and first class review videos, which if you haven't seen them, I will link them in a playlist up here. But one of my videos that I did is JFK to Lisbon for 35,000 miles in business class, booked through the Avianca LifeMiles website. It was what's called a sweet spot. It was one of my favorite things to recommend my friends to do. It was one of the most wonderful little nuggets of points and miles trivia that I loved. I'm talking about this in the past tense because when I searched it for you to recommend it for this transfer bonus, I found out that the sweet spot is now dead. It is deceased. It now costs 65,000 miles to fly business class from JFK to Lisbon. It hurt my heart as well. The great thing is now with this 50% transfer bonus on rent day, you can get that flight for just 32,500 miles if you have enough Bilt points if you transferred on that specific day. Again, I'm so sorry to bring you this news. That was one of my favorite sweet spots, and unfortunately it is no more. And that's why, as I've said before, I live by an earn and burn mentality. You don't want to have hordes and hordes of miles, because if you're planning on taking this dream trip and you plan it for years down the road, things could change and you might have to have double the miles just to take that dream trip that you were planning on with a certain amount of miles from before, if that makes sense. Earn and burn is the mentality that I live by. You should not be hoarding hundreds of thousands of miles. And I know that can be a controversial topic somewhat, but that's what I believe. Now, my friends, don't fret. All hope is not lost. There are still some sweet spots to be found. Let's take a look at this flight from Newark to London Heathrow, which only cost 45,000 Avianca LifeMiles. If you look on the United website, the same flight on their metal alone would cost you 80,000 United miles. And with the transfer bonus on rent day, this flight would only cost you 22,500 miles to fly United Polaris business class. You'd get to experience the Polaris Lounge. You'd get all those benefits for what would probably cost less than an economy flight. And you're not paying insane fuel surcharges. I also have found pretty great value flying from northern half of the US to Canada. This flight, for instance, from New York to Toronto is only 6,500 miles and $27. That is a fantastic deal, at least I think, for a nonstop flight. And because we talk about business and first class to Japan so much on this channel, let's talk about ANA, business or first class to Japan, booked through Avianca LifeMiles. So here we have a flight from Chicago to Haneda Airport, and that is actually the route that I flew in my ANA first class this week review video, which I have somewhere up here, so make sure to watch that. Now here, economy will cost you just 47,000 life miles. Business will cost you 90,000 life miles, and first class will cost you 120,000. Now that is an insane value for any of those. Even for first class, you're only paying 60,000 life miles with the transfer bonus. And for business class, you're paying 45,000 miles from Chicago to Haneda. That is Virgin Atlantic prices way back when, and you're not paying those crazy fuel surcharges that Virgin Atlantic requires. So this is a fantastic way, I think, if you can find the availability, of course, because as we have talked about, flying ANA business or first from the US to Japan is very hard to come by. And honestly, if you're willing to fly economy for a 14-hour flight, 23,500 miles with the transfer bonus is a fantastic value. And of course, again, not having to pay insane fuel surcharges just makes it even better. So now you have some great ideas for this transfer bonus to Avianca LifeMiles from Bilt. If I will give you one word of caution, it is this. Just make sure that the flight that you book when you transfer your miles to Avianca is one you can absolutely take. Avianca has, if not the worst, one of the worst cancellation policies I have ever seen with an airline loyalty mileage program. An award ticket change on Avianca LifeMiles will cost you $150, and a cancellation can cost you anywhere from $50 to $200. Remember when I told you about that flight from New York to Toronto? I booked that flight, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to end up taking it, and it would have cost more to cancel the flight or even change it for another day than get my miles back. If you are going to book a flight with Avianca LifeMiles, please make sure that you can take that. Just a word to the wise, a word of caution. I've been burned by it before, and I don't want you to be burned by it. And before we talk about the second airline that Bilt has a transfer bonus with on this rent day, let's talk about my earrings. I'm so happy to be partnering with jewelry brand Luisa on this video. They so kindly sent me a few pieces to try. I love these ash double hoops in particular. I have worn them out almost every day, I would say, just gallivanting around the city. I wore them when I was in Scotland. I wore them when I was in Florida, and they stand up to humidity quite well. They are really cute, of course. Luisa is carbon neutral, which I love. These pieces are so affordable and so cute, and it is close to Labor Day now, and they are having a sale. Luisa really has high quality jewelry at affordable prices, especially with their Labor Day sale, so I would suggest you go check them out. Just check the link in my bio down below, and let's continue with the second transfer bonus. Now, the next transfer bonus is an airline program that we have talked about quite a bit on this channel, whether it's flying from the US to the UK or for flying from the US to Japan. That is Virgin Atlantic. For rent day for September 2024, Bilt is offering a tiered transfer bonus to Virgin Atlantic. If you are a Blue member, you get a 20% transfer bonus to Virgin Atlantic. If you're Silver, 40%. Gold, 60% transfer bonus, and if you are a Platinum member, you get 100% transfer bonus to Virgin Atlantic. Now, unlike the Alaska transfer bonus a few months ago, I'm not seeing any limits to this Virgin transfer bonus, so who knows how many points you could get transferring over. Now, I've talked quite a bit on this channel about using Virgin Atlantic miles to book ANA first and business class from the US to Tokyo, and with this transfer bonus, you're getting some really good deals. Now, since my how to book business and first class to Japan video, things have changed a little bit. In my video in March 2023, I mentioned that first class from the US to Tokyo, at least the east coast of the US, is now 85,000 Virgin Atlantic miles. And in May of 2024, unfortunately, Virgin Atlantic increased those business class awards. It took them more than a full year from my video, so thank goodness that more people had more time to book that deal. But now from the east coast of Tokyo, it's going to cost you about 60,000 Virgin Atlantic miles to fly business class. Now for the west coast to Japan. Now it'll cost you about 72,500 miles to fly first class from the west coast of Tokyo, and about 52,500 miles to fly business. Of course, with this transfer bonus, things are about to get a little bit interesting. Now, provided you can find the availability, there are some pretty great deals to fly ANA first and business class to Japan with the Bilt rent day transfer bonus. Let's focus on business class first, and then we'll go over to first class. Now, from the west coast of the US to Japan, which usually costs 52,500 miles to fly, you'll need to transfer over about 44,000 Bilt points if you're a blue member, about 38,000 if you're silver, about 33,000 if you're gold, and only about 27,000 if you are a platinum Bilt member to fly business class from the West Coast to Japan on ANA. If you're flying from the East Coast to Japan, which again costs about 60,000 miles, you're looking at, for blue, about 50,000 Bilt points to transfer over, silver, about 43, gold, about 38,000, and platinum will cost you just about 30,000 Bilt points, which is amazing. Now, for first class. From the West Coast to Japan, which usually costs 72,500 Virgin Atlantic miles, if you are a blue Bilt member, you'll need to transfer over just 61,000 Bilt points, silver, about 52,000, gold, about 46,000, and for platinum, about 37,000. Now, if you're flying East Coast to Japan in first class, and hopefully you're going on the suite because it's absolutely amazing. For blue, you're looking about 71,000 miles, silver, about 61,000, gold, about 54,000, and for platinum, just about 43,000 miles, which is absolutely amazing. Keep in mind, as I've said before, that Virgin Atlantic does charge the ANA fuel surcharges, which can run you, I would say, about $300 to $400, and that can change just based on fuel prices. So that is important to know. Also important to know that Avianca LifeMiles, which we've just talked about for ANA First and Business Class awards, they don't charge those fuel surcharges. So that might sway you either way and which one you'd use to book. Now, in terms of booking these, I've shared with you in multiple videos how I have found these awards. I do not like the Avianca LifeMiles search engine. It is not very good. I found good luck with Air Canada's website searching for award availability. And remember for Virgin that you do have to call in. I will put the number right down here, but you do have to call in to book those ANA awards once you find them. Now, I'll give you one more Virgin Atlantic recommendation, and that's to fly their own metal. I have done a video on Edinburgh, Scotland to Orlando on Virgin Atlantic business class, and that flight cost about 57,500 miles. With the Bilt transfer bonus, you're looking at about 48,000 miles if you're blue, about 42,000 miles if you are a silver member, about 36,000 miles if you're a gold member, and just about 29,000 miles if you're a platinum member. Keep in mind though, Virgin and its fuel surcharges, that flight cost me about $900. And stay tuned because I also flew Virgin Atlantic back from Edinburgh this time, and it was with the new seat setup, which I had talked about before. No more weird side seats. I was flying in the new setup, and that video will be on the next few weeks, so make sure to subscribe and turn your notifications on. Now, I know that there are other Bilt rent day promos going on for September 2024, but I really wanted to focus on these two transfer bonuses because we've talked about Avianca LifeMiles before. We have talked about Virgin Atlantic before. And of course, flying from the US to Japan is a big thing of what I do on this channel, teaching you how to do that, in business or first class. But that economy award sounds absolutely amazing, booked with LifeMiles, don't you think? To have your whole family fly for the amount that it would probably cost you for one first class ticket on the regular is fantastic. Again, please stay tuned. I've got so many exciting videos coming up, and make sure to check out my Ana Luisa link down below. Let me know if you get anything from their Labor Day sale that you'll be wearing on your travels. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.